Welcome to the Mac System Manager and Navigation Training Session. I'm your Exact Americas trainer, Vince Stefanetti. In this session, we're going to show you how easy it is to use the Mac System Manager to configure your system. Now we're going to cover all the basics and as well get into more detail as we move along. Don't be worried if you know little or nothing about Macs. We're going to start at the beginning and explain everything. It is important to know that you have a complete set of documentation in PDF format installed with your Mac system. Many of these items are accessible through the System Manager under each module. You also have an online portal that contains a knowledge base and many other resources. Mac users can gain access to the portal by navigating to https://customers.exact.com. If you do not yet have access to the portal, be sure to contact your customer advocate so that you can get a username and password to access the portal. Alright, now let's take a look at what we're going to learn. First, we're going to cover some basics. Then we're going to show you how to log into Macs. We'll show you how to navigate the System Manager. We'll show you how to use the control panel. We'll show you how to add and edit user security. We'll show you how to use the report viewer. We'll show you how to view your license and activate your product. We'll also show you how to set your dates on the shop calendar and how to customize menus and tabs. Also how to personalize your Mac system. And then we're going to go over an overview and information flow of the entire Mac system. Now what is Mac exactly? Well, Mac is a series of modules contained in a main screen called the System Manager. Mac's modules are categorized by organization structure and program tabs within the System Manager. Information flows from one module to the next in a logical order flow. Order flow in system behavior is controlled by switches and part-specific configuration. The System Manager holds switches and system-wide effects. Modules contain more specific and primarily part-specific configuration data and manage more specific information. Now, what exactly is material requirements planning? Well, it's basically a system for effectively managing material requirements in a manufacturing process. Information systems have long been an important part of the manufacturing environment. In the 1960s, manufacturers developed Material Requirements Planning, MRP. According to the American Production and Inventory Control Society, APICS, MRP is a set of techniques that uses bill of material data, inventory data, and the master production schedule to calculate requirements for materials. It makes recommendations to reorder materials. Furthermore, because it is time-phased, it makes recommendations to reschedule open orders when due dates and need dates are not in phase. Time-phase MRP begins with the items listed on the master production schedule and determines the quantity of all components and materials required to fabricate those items and the date that the components and materials are required. Time-phased MRP is accomplished by exploding the bill of materials, adjusting for inventory quantities on hand or on order, and offsetting the net requirements by the appropriate lead times. Mac accomplishes this in its many modules and facilities. As you go through the system and you go through this training session, you'll see how this actually works. Now, as you can see in our diagram here of the Mac's information flow, it mirrors the MRP concept described earlier. Quotes and customer orders, forecast and master scheduled orders drive MRP. MRP looks what's on order, what's on hand, and then adjusts accordingly, creating purchase orders and shop orders. RMAs are also included in the process separately. Now, each one of the types of orders in the system is given a unique number series assigned to the type of order that it is. Forecast orders begin with a 1. Sales orders begin with a 2. Master schedules orders begin with a 3. MRP planned orders begin with a 4. Shop orders begin with a 5. Purchase requisitions begin with a 6. Purchase orders begin with a 7. RMAs 8 and quotes 9. Each one of the order number series fits into its separate place in the overall flow of information through the system. Now each order number series in MAX has a related order status to identify where it is in its life cycle. As you can see below here, there's 6 of them. In order its status 1 is planned. In order its status 2 is approved. In order its status 3 is released, 3. In order its status 4 is completed. In order its status 5 is closed. And in order at status 6 is canceled. Not all order number series go through the same life cycle. Some sequence through 3 to 5, others start at 1, and so on. Now this diagram shows the order types in MAX, such as quotes, forecast orders, and sales orders, and their related order statuses. As you can see, as mentioned before, not all orders go through the same life cycle, so they do not have the same status sequence. All right. Let's go ahead and log in and take a look at the System Manager. Okay, to log into MAX, simply double-click on the MAX icon on your desktop. The next thing you'll see is the MAX logon screen as seen here. Now there are several items on the screen. Company, where you specify the company database you want to log on to. The authentication type that you'll log into MAX with. Your username, your password, how many system users are currently logged in. You can also specify the license path and view current users in the system. If you want to clear disconnected users, click this button. Alright, now the default login for MAX is manager in all capital letters and password in all capital letters. If you want to specify a different database to log into, use the drop-down box here to specify which you want to log into. If you have a different authentication type other than the MAX authentication, there's only 2, but you may select Windows Authentication if this has been set up in your system. After entering the user and password, click the Log On button. Now once you've logged on, you'll be presented with the System Manager. Its title is up here at the top and also specifies the username of who's logged in. We used Manager so you can see that here. Down in the bottom, you'll see which database you're logged into. Now there are a number of different areas of the System Manager. The tabs menus here allow you to navigate to the different modules in MAX. The Activity menu has all the different functions of the System Manager. The Control Panel allows you to add shortcuts, user notes, and system notes. Okay, now let's look at these items in a bit more detail. In the tabs, you can see that the modules are listed and their associated documentation. So if you want to review the documentation of any one of these, just click the documentation button here. The Control Panel is another section. You can add shortcuts. There are many here, but they are editable. Right-click, make your selections, and then click OK. Now you also have the option here to edit these. If you want to add a new one, click the item here, and you can specify a document, a program, or even a web link. Click Save. And close. Alright, now every user has their own notes in every module in the system. you type in your notes here. Now each dialog box within a module has its associated notes as well. For example, in the Bill of Materials module, for this dialog here, Part Master, we can enter in a note. If we go to the Visual Bill of Materials module, within the Bill of Materials, we can add additional notes. Alright, now those are user specific. So anybody who's logged in, manager is logged in right now, I've just added notes for each one of these boxes in the system. Now system notes are only allowed to be entered by supervisors in the system. These display in all modules in every place in the system. Alright, so that's how the control panel works. One other item of note here is that you can actually hide it and make it come back and pin it again. If you want to remove it entirely, click the X. Now if you want to bring that back, you would need to go to the Options menu and click the shortcut pane. That'll make it come back. Now you can also add or remove any of these buttons in the toolbars by clicking here and making your selection. The toolbars are a shortcut way to allow you to get right to a particular area of the system manager, as in system configuration or user security even. Now the menus up here are actually dockable or undockable. You just grab it, drag it, and put it where you'd like. And we'll put it back. Now as mentioned earlier, System Manager is the place where you set global switches for Macs. The main place that this is done is under Activity, System Configuration. Now the System Configuration Editor allows you to configure these switches and global information within the system. A couple items of note are your billing address, your company data, global switches that you can configure for Macs. These are covered in each of the individual module training sessions that are forthcoming after this one. Feel free to go through here and investigate and learn more about these. They're very important, and this is how you actually set up your system for your specific business environment.